Welcome back. Our coverage continues as we remember former President Jimmy Carter. The Georgia native passed away on Sunday at 100 years old. We have team coverage for you this midday with Liza Lucas at the Carter Center in Atlanta. But we want to get things to 11 Alive Zach Merchant with our political team who has been in Plains since Sunday. The town is putting the final touches there on a series of events honoring the 39th president. Zach, what are you learning?
Well, you can feel it here, a lot of bittersweet moments, bittersweet memories, and a lot of work being done. These final preparations are being made for a multi-day state funeral, and we want to walk you through what you can expect and when you can expect it. Take a look.
The state funeral for President Carter will begin on January 4th as his hearse will move from Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus to his childhood home here in Plains, where the National Park Service will salute the late president by ringing the farm bells 39 times. After the ceremony, his body will travel to Atlanta, pausing at the state capitol for a moment of silence before arriving at the Carter Center. After a brief service, he will lie in repose, where people can pay their respects until the morning of January 7th. Later that day, Carter will leave Georgia and head to Washington, D.C. to lie in state. Members of Congress will pay their respects in the late afternoon before the event is opened to the public. The late president will continue to lie in state until the morning of January 9th. That morning, he will travel to the Washington National Cathedral for a ceremony and funeral service. Carter then heads back home to Georgia for a private family service and burial in Plains.
And just like he did in life, you just saw, he will be crisscrossing the country, but also just like he did in life, he will always be returning right here in Plains to this place where his roots go so deep. We're live in Plains. Zach Merchant, 11 Alive News.
Zach, thank you. Turning now to Liza Lucas, live from the Carter Center in Atlanta, as hundreds of people come by throughout the day to pay their respects and bringing mementos and really some personal items just to show how much he impacted their lives. Liza, generations are coming together.
That's exactly right. We've definitely seen more families today. I have to say, particularly this morning, parents bringing their children. One visitor telling me that they hope that the legacy of Jimmy Carter will inspire future generations. Of course, the former president's legacy is deeply tied to the work here at the Carter Center where we are. And I've had a chance to speak with some of the team at the center since we've been here over the last few days. Jonathan Stonestreet among those who I checked in with this morning. He is part of the democracy program, and he gave me a little insight on how everyone is doing inside. Take a listen.
Both he and Rosalind were just wonderful people. So just from a personal perspective, that's it's hard to take. But I also feel that he set us on the right path. He set the Carter Center on a good path. The Carter Center really reflects his ideals and his interests, and laid the foundation for work going forward.
And speaking of that foundation, one visitor who was actually a former librarian and who had previously volunteered here at the center before was among those I spoke with, who was dropping off flowers this morning. That visitor calling the display here a canvas of love. I just love that summary and I wanted to share it with you, Aisha. And you can just see the handwritten notes that have appeared, the photos, the drawings that have been lovingly laid here in Carter's memory. The Carter Center also has a memorial page where you too can share your memories or condolences with the family, and then the Carter family will also be inviting the public to pay respects during either of the public viewings during the funeral procession in Washington, in the downtown area of Plains, or along the motorcade routes here in Georgia and in D.C. And I just learned that the CEO of Habitat International is going to be coming by in about an hour as well to lay down a hard hat here at the site. Just one more example of how people are paying their respects and making sure that they stop by and commemorate the great legacy that was Jimmy Carter. Sending it back to you.
Liza, thank you. And this midday, we are hearing from people across the country about how President Carter impacted them. And we're talking with one man who says he owes his job to the former president, saying Mr. Carter was the inspiration behind his career. 11 Alive's Molly Oak introduces us to the Georgia-born cartoonist whose work is getting a lot of attention.
My very first cartoon I drew in high school got me sent to the principal's office.
It's a career Marshall Ramsey pictured since he was a kid.
We had Nixon, we had Ford, we had Jimmy Carter, who was our governor. We had, him running for president. That was so exciting for me as a little kid.
Which is when Marshall says President Jimmy Carter
Always had the big teeth.
Sparked his love for politics and his decision to become an editorial cartoonist.
Which was the weirdest thing an 8-year-old could possibly say to his dad.
Marshall was born and raised in Georgia and worked in Marietta.
And I tell you what, I'm home right now. This is kind of cool.
But it wasn't the job he had planned.
This was my sketch.
Or sketched out for himself.
Ended up as a high school janitor because I couldn't find a job.
The now editor-at-large and editorial cartoonist for Mississippi Today.
His big smile like that.
Still draws back to his Georgia roots.
This time last year, while I was here in Woodstock, of course, Rosalind passed away. And so I ended up doing the cartoon of her from here as well. And like I did yesterday when I drew the cartoon here.
When he learned about the former president's death,
it was a love story for the ages.
He knew what he had to illustrate.
Every aspect of his life has been just for the record books. But his love for his wife, to me, and the fact that you knew how much he missed her, I wanted to make sure that I had them reuniting.
Marshall says his cartoons have drawn up overwhelming responses.
And it's just a reminder that no matter what we do, what you do, we're all artists. We all are given a blank canvas that every single morning that we have the ability to create a piece of art in our lives, whether it's if you sell cars or sell homes or if you work in a factory, you can create something that can make a difference in someone's life.
Just as President Carter created for him. Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
Right now on 11 Alive Plus, you can stream our full coverage of President Carter's life and legacy. Just search 11 Alive on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV to watch for free.